when I was 5 years old. My grandfather took me and my oldest brother to Manoas Rock. And I climbed up there with him. And he told me, when you become a grandpa like me, you're going to have to fight for this place. This man, the guy who owned all this property, he was going to blow up to Manoas Rock, and he wanted to build condominiums here. Jefferson Land Trust ended up getting the loan from the Bullitt Foundation, and we raised some other money. My grandfather brought many people here to help them find their way. Whenever they needed spiritual help, people from other tribes, he brought them up here and brought them to the rock.
I think being out here and cleaning up the sacred rock is really important. And if people graffiti on it, it's like showing disrespect, I guess, to the rock and to the whole place.
Yeah. You can already see it starting to work. It'll dissolve the paint away and we can scrub it off with our wire brushes. Make the rock look nice again.
The Jefferson Land Trust has the deed to the property, and they'll hold it for 2 years.
We still have a ways to go. We've got a couple of years to make sure that this magnetic, iconic, sacred, incredible place is permanently protected.
It's so meaningful because Grandfather said it was going to be. And so when you look at this, you could say, I'm part of that rock. And I cared enough so that it will be spiritually there for all of us.
The farm in general has had this amazing, rich history, and it's been an integral part of the Chimicum community over 120, 30 years.
Kirk was way ahead of his time. I mean, he was doing organic beef 25 years ago. He was happy just driving around the farm and looking at the cows, and the cows looked happy. It made him happy when the cows were happy.
I'm so thankful that Kirk has really instilled in us the idea of conservation and stewardship of our land and natural resources, and how to take care of the field, the water systems, how to take care of the animals, and how this community at large works, within the bigger picture of economy and commerce.
I remember when I first came out and started talking with you, you said something like, we're going to be working together for a while, aren't we, Sarah? And I said,
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Kirk. This is going to take a while.
A
long time. But we finally did it.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you for sticking with it in the organic,
Yeah.
keeping it the same farming techniques as they've been doing here for, 150 years?
Yeah.
It seems like you really wanted to see the farm stay a farm forever.
Yeah. And it's going to.
It's going to.
This way.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm proud to keep it a farm as well, and happy that working with the Land Trust, we could see it always be an agricultural farm.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah, we know so now. Written in stone, just the way you wanted it.
The conservation, with the Jefferson Land Trust meant a lot, because it meant that even if he wasn't going to be here, it was going to be here for somebody else to enjoy in the same way that he enjoyed it.
I think he's really proud to leave a legacy.
legacy.
behind. Really proud.
down on the dock at Port Townsend Paper Mill. Behind me is the land that we were able to work with Jefferson Land Trust and the state park system to set up a conservation easement. We're very excited that this land, about 250 acres, will be kept from development in perpetuity. Jefferson Land Trust are the stewards, and we're proud to partner with them in this great project.
This 250-acre Glen Cove Conservation Easement connects with Old Fort Townsend State Park and Jefferson Land Trust's Bulis Forest Preserve, making for a total of over 750 acres of a permanent green buffer at the urban fringe of Port Townsend. This protected area provides critical eelgrass habitat for migrating juvenile salmon leaving Chimacum Creek and forested uplands for habitat and sustainable forestry, such as practiced at the Bulis Forest Preserve. Erica and Janice Bulis gifted this 130-acre property to Jefferson Land Trust back in 1996.
Janice and Erica, they're from Latvia. Janice was a forester and Erica, she was a cartographer. I met Jan in about 1990. There was a windstorm that blew down quite a few of the trees. I was a consulting forester and Jan hired me to harvest the blow down, market them, and reforest. We became pretty good friends over the years. After Jan passed, Erica called me and said, "My dogs seem to like you more than anyone else that comes here. If anything happened to me, would you take care of them for me?" I said, "I like the dogs too, I'd be glad to." And it was decided that she would offer me a life estate on the house in exchange for caring for her dogs. Today there is one dog left, and his name is Blue.
And you live on the property?
Yes.
Where
It's there about a quarter mile to the east. We got the idea that the 100 acres with the home on it would become a preserve right away, and the 20 acres would be a commercial forest to generate revenue for the care of the preserve. Right now it's being managed for carbon credits.
The Northwest Natural Resource Group approached the Jefferson Land Trust to be an innovator, a guinea pig for what we were doing with forest carbon offsets. We wanted to create a program that would focus directly on small forest landowners participating in the FSC Stewardship Forest Program. And the idea is that small forest landowners have the capacity to not only do sustainable forestry, but also to capture, like here at the Bulis Preserve, another source of revenue through the carbon market.
Shorebank Enterprise Cascadia purchased 400 metric tons of carbon credits at $20 a metric ton from Jefferson Land Trust. We did this to offset 3 years of our carbon emissions. Additionally, we helped Jefferson Land Trust meet their missional goal of protecting the Bulis Preserve.
And this meadow is wonderful. In the summertime, you can come up here and take a nap in the sun and feel like you're back in time.
Recently, somebody asked if I'd consider a blog, and I thought it was a silly idea until I started writing it, and then found that it was a delightful way to reflect on my experience here.
Elijah Swan lives in the hand-hewn cedar shake cabin of my imagination. Each morning he wakes to watch the sunrise, leaning in the door jamb and looking out at the world. The name Elijah comes from my neighbor, Lige Christian. He and his wife, Kay, are the reason we're here.
2004, we decided to sell the farm, and that's when we met Keith and Christy, and they bought the farm with a couple of other partners.
Keith had a background in farming, so he understood not just the romantic sounding part of it, but the actual nitty-gritty of it. I think that's really important.
You see, it was Elijah's idea to make hard cider. He mentioned it one day looking down at the green sweep of ground in front of our house.
You know,
This
this would be a good place for an apple orchard. We're south facing, we've got good sunlight, the soil's right.
The swan in Elijah Swan comes from the flock of trumpeters that settles into the waterlogged ponds of the valley bottom each winter. They are magnificent. In the morning, they soar and honk over.
Well, now that the conservation easement's in place, it's enabled us to move forward with the cidery and to up our grain production and developing relationships with Organic Seed Alliance and Washington State University in their wheat breeding work. So you can imagine we do this to several thousand bottles a year. Hook it, and there you go, champagne.
We pressed 800 gallons in the last year, and we're going to press 1,300 gallons this year. You know, our relationship with the Jefferson Land Trust has been amazing. We got to a place in terms of where we thought we may have to sell the farm, and through the process of gaining the easements on the land, we've ensured both that we can stay and that the land will be worked as agricultural land forever, which is very important to us.
They have so much wisdom that they teach us and share with us, but we also have a lot of opportunities to think critically together and problem solve. Every day that we work here, we're, creating something.
He walks his talk in mud-caked boots, and each morning when he nods reverently to the day ahead, he reminds me to make a true story of my own life.